There are moments when nature does not whisper. It roars, it rises, it strikes back. For too long, humans have believed they could take from the wild, its tusks, its horns, its skins, without consequence. But every so often, nature reminds us that it is not a silent victim. Sometimes the hunted become hunters. Today, we are diving into 5 real-life moments when animals fought back against poachers and won. These are not tales of fantasy. These are moments when the wild refused to bow down. And before we dive in, if you believe nature deserves justice, make sure to subscribe to Rescue Realm for more stories that awaken, inspire, and make you see the world in a different lens. The elephants that remembered. Our first story begins in the heart of Kenya, where vast golden plains stretch into forever, and where elephants have long lived under constant threat from poachers. These intelligent giants have seen generations of hunters come after their ivory, and over time, they began to change. In one village near Savo, a small group of poachers had been terrorizing herds for months. They worked at night, silent, methodical, and yet cruel. But one night, things went differently. The men set up camp near a dry riverbed, planning to strike a herd that had been seen earlier that week. But as soon as they slept, the ground began to tremble. The air grew heavy. The sound came first low, deep, and unrelenting. It was the matriarch, a massive elephant, her skin scarred from old bullet wounds, led her herd straight towards the camp. The poachers woke up too late. Before they could reach their rifles, the herd surrounded them. The matriarch charged first, slamming through the tents, tossing equipment, and tearing apart everything that smelled of humans. The men ran, but the herd followed, chasing them for 2 miles. 2 of them never came back. Villagers found the trampled remains days later. No elephant was found near the scene. It was as if they had delivered their message and disappeared back to the wild. Scientists say elephants remember faces, smells, and even sounds. Some of them have seen their family members killed, and when they encounter humans again, they recognize the scent. Maybe this herd was not just acting on instinct, maybe they remembered. The rhino that refused to die. In South Africa's Limpopo province, a poacher named Beki Zitha was known for his cruelty. He hunted rhinos, cut off their horns, and left the animals bleeding in the dirt. He bragged that no one could stop him, not the rangers, not the laws, not even the animals themselves. But arrogance has a way of finding its punishment. One summer night, he entered the Kruger National Park with 2 accomplices. Their target, a massive black rhino that the locals nicknamed Tanda. The animal was a legend, powerful, elusive, and fiercely territorial. As the men crept closer, they spotted Tanda grazing near a waterhole. They raised their rifles, but before they could fire, a gust of wind shifted the scent. The rhino lifted his head, nostrils flaring, and then he charged. The men tried to run, but the ground was uneven. Heki Zitha tripped and fell. The rhino slammed into him with the full force of 1,000 pounds. The others fled into the night, hearing their leader's screams echo behind them. When the rangers arrived the next morning, they found the man's body crushed and his rifle shattered. The rhino was gone, alive, free, and unbroken. For years afterwards, locals told the story of Tanda, the rhino that refused to die, and maybe that is how nature restores its balance, one life for another. The lion's revenge. In Tanzania's Zealous Game Reserve, there once was a group of poachers who made a fortune killing lions. They would lure them with bait, shoot them from their trucks, and sell their skins for thousands. They called themselves the Hunters of the Sun. But one hunt would change everything. On a blistering afternoon, they shot a lioness from afar. What they did not know was that the cubs she had hidden in the tall grass nearby. The rest of her pride, 3 males and 2 females, were not far behind. As the men approached to claim their prize, the grass began to move. One of the men felt something brush against his leg. Before he could turn, she struck. The first lion leapt from behind, dragging one of the poachers into the dirt. Chaos erupted. The others fired their guns wildly, hitting nothing but air. Within seconds, the lions surrounded them. When rangers later found the scene, the trucks were overturned, the weapons scattered, and 3 men missing. They were never found. The pride returned days later to the same spot, lying in the sun, calm and unbothered, as if they were guarding the place where justice had been served. The crocodile's trap. This next story unfolds in Indonesia's mangrove swamps, a place where it's dark, thick, and full of secrets. A group of illegal hunters entered the marshes one night, searching for crocodiles. Their plan was simple: shoot, skin, and disappear before sunrise. But nature had other plans. The hunters set traps and waited on a small island surrounded by still water. Hours passed. The air was thick with mosquitoes. Suddenly, one of the men noticed ripples in the water. Dozens of small eyes began to appear. One pair, then two, then dozens more. The hunters grew nervous. They fired warning shots. The noise echoed through the swamp, but the eyes did not move. They only grew closer. One man decided to cross the water to their boat. As soon as his foot touched the surface, a massive crocodile surged upward, snapping his leg and pulling him under. Panic exploded. The others tried to flee, but the mud trapped their feet. By morning, villagers found nothing but torn nets and broken flashlights. The boat was gone. The swamp was silent. Locals said the crocodiles were defending their territory, that humans had crossed a sacred line. Whether or not you believe that, one thing is clear: those who entered the swamp that night never left it. The forest strikes back. Our final story comes from India's Kaziranga National Park, a place famous for its rhinos, elephants, and tigers, and equally infamous for its poaching. The forest rangers there have one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, but sometimes nature itself becomes their ally. One monsoon season, a group of poachers tried to sneak into the park through the eastern forest. The plan was to wait out the rain, find a herd of rhinos, and strike when the skies cleared. But as they moved deeper into the jungle, the storm intensified. Lightning cracked across the sky, trees groaned and fell, and then, out of nowhere, they heard a low growl from a tiger. It was close, too close. The men froze. The tiger circled them silently in the rain. Every flash of lightning revealed a golden blur between the trees. One of the men fired a shot, but the sound only echoed in the storm. When rangers followed the gunshot hours later, they found their bodies scattered near the roots of a massive tree. No tiger was seen nearby. The forest was quiet, except for the steady fall of rain. Some rangers hypothesized that the tiger had been stalking them for hours. Others say the jungle itself took its revenge. But what is certain? No one ever tried that route again. Every story here tells us something vital: that the wild is not helpless. It does not always forgive, and it does not always forget. When animals rise together, when instincts align, and the earth itself seems to respond, it reminds us of an ancient balance that no law, no bullet, and no greed can erase. From elephants and rhinos to lions and crocodiles, even a buffalo, nature has shown that it still remembers the harmony we broke. These stories are not revenge fantasies, they are warnings, written in the language of survival. If this video fascinated you at all, caught your attention, if you enjoyed learning, please like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section, and let me know which scenario was your favorite there and most entertaining and interesting.